What is going on, my Cardano friends? It is your friend Jack here, and in today's video we're going to be covering Cardano synthetic assets in a complete tutorial, a walkthrough guide on how to use Indigo protocol. Cardano doesn't have that many dApps live right now, especially not a mainnet of this quality. So in today's video we're going to be diving into how it works and specifically how to use the dApp as well as the risk associated with it for an everyday user of Cardano like yourself. Indigo protocol is based on tokenizing the real world economy using synthetic assets that are pegged to real world assets through oracles. Now, this is confusing. There's a lot of confusing things about Indigo. Essentially, anything that's a real world price can be turned into an iAsset or an Indigo asset. This is a synthetic version of it, and adding more assets is going to be responsible to the DAO, Indigo DAO members, and therefore, if you would like to propose creation of new iAssets or synthetics for this protocol, you can do so in their governance form. But more importantly is how the heck does this app work? Real quick though, before we get into it, if you want to stake your ADA and earn passive ADA, you can do so with the Jack Stake Pool as a service to me and yourself for watching this video and making this video. Now, also keep in mind, this staked ADA can be utilized and staked in earning rewards while you use something like Indigo Protocol through the mechanisms they provided, from stability pools to even more. So let's get into all of what I'm saying so it's not just gibberish to you, and let's actually use the app. Okay, so you're going to come to the app, which will be linked down in the description. Make sure you're at app.indigoprotocol.io, and then you're going to connect your wallet. This is the first step to anything. And also switch over to dark mode because no one uses light mode. Connect your wallet. You can either use NAMI or Eternal. Press this check mark and then continue on. Make sure you have your collateral enabled and also read any warning messages. And you're probably going to want a clean wallet for this that doesn't really have any NFTs or pending UTXOs in it. Then once your wallet is connected, you are ready to get going. You're ready to get liquidated and lose all your money, or you're ready to be cautious and know the risks. So before we dive into actually using the dApp, let's go over some of the risks and the risk profile of all the actions you can consume as a user or do or perform using Indigo protocol. So most importantly, we want to go over the fact that there is risk. This is a risky, scary place, and liquidations are a real thing, especially when you're dealing with synthetic assets and you're providing collateral. You need to know what you're doing. First things first, the most probably safest thing you can do, this is all personal opinion by the way, so don't take this with everything. The most safe thing you can do on a protocol like this is providing to a stability pool. This is probably the least risky action you can do. You put synthetic assets in a stability pool, as we can see over here. If we go to stability pools, and you gain rewards from that stability pool. We'll go over a bit how this works in a sec here. But you gain rewards and you lose out, or you get your iAssets taken away, but in rewards you get paid in ADA because of under collateralized positions getting liquidated, and you and the stability pools taking advantage of that and gaining those rewards or the extra collateral that was in those liquidated positions. So yeah, that's probably the least risky way that you can participate on this dApp. The next is probably arbitrage. This is a medium risk, basically taking advantage of prices of iAssets through different open markets, or in general also getting some rewards from stability pools. This might be considered arbitrage, but it is a more medium risk. You do have to know what you're doing here to take advantage of markets and to be able to close CDPs or positions you have on the dApp and come out in profit. You're going to have to be smart about it. I myself probably wouldn't play around with this too much, as it does require some expertise and the ability to manage your arbitraging positions. This is also more opportunity based. There's not always going to be a influx of arbitrage opportunities or places you can go that you can just gain 10 cents on the dollar from two open markets or one to another, and liquidity might be tight in a lot of places where you're trying to arbitrage. So it is medium risk because of the complexity and also the opportunities that are and aren't there all the time. AKA, you could try to arbitrage on one open market, it looks great, but liquidity isn't there, and you lose out on your money, or you just don't gain any value at all and you lose due to just fees. Third riskiest thing is going to be liquidity providing on a DEX. Probably the most risky, just because liquidity providing is tough, especially for volatile pairs or volatile synthetic assets in this case, like IBTC. There is a larger probability that you can suffer from impermanent loss if the assets decouple from one another while you've been providing liquidity. For iUSD and ADA, providing liquidity to that pair, a synthetic or a stablecoin synthetic, you're going to have a little bit less risk, but still probably the most risky that you suffer some losses, especially if you don't know what you're doing and you're not managing your position for impermanent loss. So now for the fourth thing you should be aware of in terms of risk is opening a CDP yourself. This is essentially the process of minting iAssets on Indigo protocol. If you go to dashboard and you want to open a position, this is opening a CDP, and you would be opening a CDP here by minting assets and supplying collateral alongside those assets that you're minting to back them up and keep the protocol solvent. This is or could be very, very risky. If you're doing the minimum collateral, which is 110%, so say I want to have 100 ADA or 110% here, I want to mint 2 iAsset dollars. You can't do that. You need to have at least 10 collateral for the protocol. So let's do 20. I need to have 68 collateral, 110% collateral ratio. That means if ADA drops in price by 10%, I could get liquidated. However, a lot of people will do something like open a CDP and they put over here on the liquidation, they put say 180%, 185. You see it's green here. This means you have a lot less chance of getting liquidated. This is probably the lowest risks in terms of these options. And if you want, you could even up it even more to say something like 300%. So ADA's price would have to crash down to a significantly less amount for you to get liquidated. And cool thing about Indigo protocol, which I've learned over time, is that say you have a position with low collateral and you're about to get liquidated, you can add collateral, and you could always burn the iAssets you initially had if you still have them and close your position and get your collateral back. I know this is still probably a little bit confusing for you, but you can always come back to this point after we do the actions of opening CDPs, participating in stability pools, and come back to this section so you understand it a bit more. It's just here for reference. Before we get into the video, I want you to understand that the risks are here and they are scary and you should be aware of them and take note that they are very, very real. Fifth risk is just overall protocol risk. Indigo protocol was made by people. Do you trust these people? Do you trust what they've done? Do you trust the smart contracts? And have you done your due diligence on how the protocol works? Simple things that people should ask themselves about every project. So I thought I would throw it in this one too. Okay, now let's mint some iAssets or some synthetic assets on Cardano mainnet. So I'm going to zoom in here so you can see better. But first thing I'm going to do, now that I have my wallet connected, collateral is put in the wallet, I am going to mint some iUSD. And you do this by opening a CDP, which we just went over. You can buy it off other markets. If we go over here and look at MintSwap, you could see 1 iUSD is worth $1.06 on open market, or in this open market specifically, or 3.344519 ADA. We have to supply at least a 10% amount above this ratio for collateral. So it's going to be $1.10 minimum to mint iUSDs or open a CDP. We are going to provide, let's say we want 100 iUSD and we want to set a collateral ratio of, we're going to go low here, 110%. Okay, so this is risky. If you get liquidated, this iUSD will still be in your wallet, but you'll lose this collateral. Basically, you'll lose 10% on the dollar in this situation. So we're going to open this position just to show you how it works, and we can add collateral later or close the position by returning this iUSD and get our collateral back if we want at any time before we get liquidated. Once you're liquidated, CDP's closed and it's over. Keep in mind, I would not normally do this. I'm doing this for educational purposes. If I get liquidated, that's fine. I'm okay with it. But this is risky. 110% collateral ratio, I would not do normally. The purpose of the video, honestly, is to try to get liquidated if we can, to show you how your CDP just closes and you are donezo, you lose your collateral. But let's go ahead and let's open this position on Indigo protocol for 145 iUSD. You're going to see here, it costs 500 ADA because our collateral plus the USD equals about this. And then you're going to see we get one asset, 145 iUSD. We're going to click sign. We're going to put in our password. And then we're going to confirm. It may take a minute for the transaction to confirm, but once we have this all ready to go, I'll see you guys. Okay, our position has been created. As you can see here in the bottom red, bottom right, it is very red, and 110% is not a great number to have your collateral ratio set at because you could get liquidated. In this case, we would lose 10 cents on the dollar, and we would still hold our 145 IUSD if we do get liquidated, but that premium collateral would be sent off to the stability pools and the people supporting those to cover our debt position. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and actually add a little bit more collateral to this position just to show you how it's done. And then we're going to do some of the other actions we can with our position here to show you how everything works. First of all, adding collateral is pretty simple. Put the amount of ADA you want to add into the collateral position, and you can see the percent goes up accordingly. So we're going to add in another 30 ADA, which isn't much, and this ups our collateral ratio to 116%, which puts it out of the red and into the orange. Still not the best territory you'd want to be in, but that's how you would simply up it. We're going to deposit the collateral, sign a transaction, and our current position will change accordingly. Okay, that didn't take long. You can see our position now is 116%. We have a total collateral of 531 ADA, and our debt is 145 IUSD, meaning if we want to close this CDP, we would return all of our debt, 105 USD. We're not going to do it yet. We're going to withdraw first, and withdrawing collateral would then put back the collateral we just put. We're going to withdraw 39 ADA. Okay, sorry, 30 ADA. 30 ADA, and then you're going to see our collateral go back down, and it'll be back at 110% in the high risk territory. Now, something really cool I want to show you before we go any further is that our ADA that we staked with, or sorry, our ADA that is staked is liquid. We know that, right? ADA Cardano staking is great. Here's the thing, Indigo protocol, we just use 500 ADA for this position as collateral to make this 145 IUSD. So we currently have 145 IUSD in our possession. That's cool. And our collateral that's put up, usually, you know, it's just sitting there. We can't invest it. We can't do anything with it. In this case, you can. We have it still here as external stake. It is controlled by us. It is staking to the same stake pool our wallet is staked to. And essentially, we are earning value from this because we use Indigo protocol, and because of the way Indigo protocol is structured, your collateral is still being staked and still earning your rewards, which is just awesome. If you were to change stake pools, your collateral stake would also change with you, as it's based off your staking key when you sign the transaction. So just keep that in mind. It's really awesome. You can do this with larger positions and essentially take out a loan or pretty much have the ability to reflect the price of an asset on Indigo protocol while still holding the control of your stake and the earnings on your stake. So there's a lot of potential with all that stuff, but now let's get into minting some more assets. So what we can do right now, our collateral is 110%. We can't mint more assets without adding collateral because it's as low as it can go. But if our collateral was 120%, we could mint more assets, lowering our collateral, and get back down to the 110%. So let's go ahead and let's mint some more assets. We're going to mint 10 more IUSD, but as you can see here, as I said, you can only mint down to 110% collateral ratio. So we're going to have to go back, deposit some more collateral, and then we'll be able to mint some more IUSD. Once again, 30 more ADA back into the system. And after that's done, you can now see we can deposit some more IUSD. We're going to go 100% and we can get 8.6 more IUSD. And this will lower our collateral back down to 110%. We're going to click this little checkbox and we're going to perform the transaction. Okay, we're now back down to 110% collateral ratio in the risk zone. Just keep in mind, if you are at this amount of collateral ratio, the max you can lose is that collateral, which is or should be 10% more than your debt. So it's not the end of the world, but it is, and it will add up if you don't pay attention. And also, if our collateral ratio is at something like 185%, where it's green, and Cardano price drops 50%, we are going to lose that collateral. So we're going to lose 85% on the dollar, say, in that scenario. So just keep that in mind. So as I mentioned before, you can burn iAssets as well. To close your CDP, you would enter all of your debt and repay this to claim back that collateral. Or what you can do is kind of the opposite of what we just did with minting iUSD. We can, instead of lowering our collateral ratio, up it by burning a percentage of that USD, and our collateral, or the difference in ADA, will then be our collateral, and our collateral will then go up. So let's say we want to burn that 8 iUSD we just minted. We can up our collateral back to 116%, and with the click of a button, we can do that. Okay, I've signed the transaction, and as you can see here, my valuations have changed and we have 116% collateral ratio. Now what we're going to do, if I zoom out here, is we're going to head over to the stability pools section. This is where you can participate in stability pools, which I did claim were the least risky, probably. So that's what I think is the least risky. And this is where you can earn rewards from the protocol for staking your iUSD. You can do this for any synthetic asset, but the only two synthetic assets on Indigo at the time of recording right now are iBTC and iUSD. I'm also pretty certain that not right now, but in the future, there will be Indi, which is Indigo Protocol's native token, rewards for participating in these pools, but they are not yet live right now. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's open an account, or let's start staking our iUSD. What we're going to do is click 100% of this, include, you're going to see there is a transaction fee, a deposit fee, which you get back when you close your account, and then there's a stability pool account creation fee. This fee is going to be sent to all stability providers, so if people make pools after you and open this account for themselves, you will be able to share profits from that, as well as the liquidations occurring that are using the stability pool's liquidity to repay debts. And the over collateralization that they had and was once theirs is now going to be yours or the rest of the stability pool's money. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's first create this by opening an account and signing the transaction. Okay, the transaction has been signed, and you can see we now have staked iUSD in this pool. We can go ahead and click manage, and we can see we can either withdraw or claim rewards. Right now, we only have 0.008 rewards, so it'd be kind of silly to claim them as there is a count reward withdrawal fee, and this is sent back to the stability providers. So could be myself. If someone else does it, I get a fraction of that. There's also an ADA transaction fee associated with this, so we're not going to redeem them right now. We're going to leave our iUSD staking for now. So that pretty much covers all the available features on Indigo Protocol right now, but I do want to provide a little bit more insight into how things work, how you can view the protocol, and some other features, as well as just in general, things that you could do or utilize Indigo Protocol for that could very much be in your benefit in terms of price acquisition and, just arbitraging in general, the price of ADA. Now, let's talk about first this page right here. It's the second thing down. It's called liquidate. This is just overall people's positions and debt ratios. Here you can see, if we scroll down a little bit, mine right here. And you can also take a look at how much other people are putting into this protocol, and how much they're willing to lose with their associated minting assets or debt. I also want to mention that if you go to the governance, this little icon right here, you can stake Indi here and earn rewards from that. So if you have Indi token, definitely be on the lookout for that. Stability pools, as I mentioned, will get Indi staking rewards, just not this moment, and they will be distributed every 5 days based on your stake and the overall market cap of the pool or the iAsset in question. So keep that in mind. But something really cool to note is when we have stablecoins in an ecosystem, especially native on Cardano, we could do some cool things. Maybe you mint iUSD, and at the same time, right now, I'm still earning staking rewards on this iUSD that I've set up for collateral. So I have the iUSD in my hands, and I also have staking rewards from the ADA that I'm using as collateral behind it. So I'm essentially borrowing iUSD, and my collateral is ADA. This is an interesting time here where we could earn the staking rewards and still have the CDP liquid staking to give me those staking rewards, and then I could go use the iUSD and farm up again and provide liquidity somewhere else to get even more bonus yield rewards. So there's a lot of avenues you can take down this track, and at the same time, when you use liquid staking through the CDPs on Indigo Protocol, you're still earning rewards on your ADA that you have deposited, but you're gonna have to manage your positions and your risk, especially, as I mentioned, when you're LPing on DEXs. This is probably the most risky thing and the most likely for you to suffer in permanent loss, other than just having a terrible collateralization ratio, the price of ADA dropping by that percent, and you losing that bonus ADA. You won't lose everything. You will just lose pretty much 10% on the dollar if it's iUSD, or it could be worse if you're in a more volatile asset like Bitcoin. Well, you do lose everything. You lose your collateral. You still do hold on to that initial asset that you minted, that you were in debt to, and the solvency is covered back by the stability pools on the protocol. So I know I'm currently opening a position as well inside of Bitcoin Synthetic for 428 at 110% collateralization ratio, and I will update you guys when I get liquidated because it probably will happen. Side note though, this 428 still in my stake, still earning staking rewards, and the Bitcoin that is locked in is staking to stability pool as well and earning rewards. Pretty freaking cool. I hope this kind of makes sense to you. If it doesn't, leave questions down in the description. I'm going to leave this page right here, which helped me a lot. Just the documentation of the current Indigo protocol state. So you can check it out and read about things that you may be questioning. But I also cover it in a video if you guys want me to. That's it for the practical part of this demo. This will be linked down in the description. Hope you guys have a great freaking day. It's been your friend Jack. Peace out.